All right, this is going to be rational equation applications, and this is a shared job problem. Okay, so it says working together, it takes Sam, Jenna, and Francisca 2 hours to paint one room. When Sam works alone, he can paint one room in 6 hours. When Jenna works alone, she can paint one room in 4 hours. Determine how long it would take Francisco to paint one room on his own. Poor Francisco. We've got to find out how long it's going to take him. So this is going to be one of these style of work problems. And we like to think a work problem is very similar to a distance problem. We like to think of it as work equals to the rate times the time in a lot of cases, okay? And that's how we're going to kind of break this down. It says this problem can be modeled by representing each person's work as a unit rate. As you make sense of this problem, fill in the unit rates for each person below. All three people can paint the room in 1 hour. Well, if we think about it, what we do know is that all three people can paint it in 2 hours. So it says all three people can paint what fraction of the room in 1 hour? Well, all of them combined can do 1/2 of the room. Now, that actually gives us our rate. I mean, our rate, if we were to say, well, we divide by the time. We take the rate equals to the work that is going to happen, and we divide it by the time. So in this case, we think of it as one room divided by the time. And in this case, it was for all three of them, all three people, it was 1 over the time of 2 hours. Okay. Now we go to Sam, and it says Sam can paint the room in 6 hours, which means in 1 hour, he can paint approximately what fraction of that room? Well, that is 1/6 of that room. And again, that goes back to our work and time. So one kitchen over a total time of 6 hours. And Jenna can paint the room in 4 hours, which tells us that that would be, she can do 1, which is the amount of work, the kitchen over the time, which is going to be 4 hours. So if we were to say, what about for Francisco? Well, we don't know how Francisco is actually going to work. So if I was to say, okay, well, what about Francisco? Well, we don't know how long it takes him, because that's actually our question. How long would it take Francisco? Well, Francisco's would have to be a total of 1 kitchen divided by X, because that is Francisco's amount of time. Okay. Well, the thing that we do know is that their combined effort is a total of 1/2, where they can paint one part of the room, or 1/2 of the room in 1 hour. So let's go ahead and make an equation. We know that if we take Sam's rate of 1/6 of the room in an hour, and we go to Jenna's, which is 1/4, and we now know Francisco's, which is 1 over X, we know their combined effort should be equal to 1/2. So let's go over to Desmos. We just plug that in, 1/6 plus 1/4 plus 1x. And what we want to do is we want to find that it is equal to 1 over 2. Well, if we follow that line out and look for where they intersect, we can find that Francisco takes approximately 12 hours to paint that room. So Francisco takes 12 hours to do it on his own.